Okay, so here's my little strip of glass on the joint, and I've cut another little strip of glass here which I'm just putting into this vertical area just to reinforce this vertical edge. Take some of my resin that I've mixed and just dab this down. Working with 106mm glass is really nice. It's a very tightly woven fabric and it kind of stays relatively nicely together when you're working with it. So it's great for this type of job. If I used a very soft 25 or 49 gram glass here, I think I would be battling much more than I am with the 106 glass. Okay, so we can just wet out this little area. Obviously stippling initially, just to make sure that the glass doesn't move too much. We can do a little bit of sort of strokey type movements now. And that's a nice little bond between the carbon and the 106 gram glass in the trailing edge section. Do it up this side, stipple the resin in, bit of a long process this, just takes care, caution, make sure there's no dry fabric. And also not too much resin. We don't want orbs of shiny batches of resin. Making sure that the vertical wall is nicely wet out. I'm getting quite happy with this section here. It is a tricky section to bag, but it's just the structure or the nature of this design. I've got to make sure that I get strength. This is the first time I'm actually doing this, so I'm learning this particular airfoil as I'm going along. Okay, any excess resin I can just use a paper towel to dab up. Right, I've also cut some reinforcement strips for the tip out of carbon. This is just so that we don't get any excessive damage, or we can make this strong so that if it does happen to hit a wingtip, this will be quite strong. A little bit of carbon in here. The control surface will be basically cut from here all along there and off here, and this is just that outboard section which will help stiffen this up and strengthen this tip area. Another one for the other side. And just make sure stretch it out so it goes all the way to the trailing edge. I let the paint dry overnight and got a nice early start this morning. So nice and bright and early. cool morning here in South Africa. So it gives me lots of time to work with this epoxy system. It's no rush, I don't have to panic about timing. It's also a good idea to let the resin get into the gel stage before putting it into the bag, so we don't end up sucking out more resin than we want, especially with a thin low viscosity resin like this that I'm using. Okay, so I'm just dabbing up excessive amounts of excess resin that are here. And the next thing that will go down will be the Airix layer. Now remember that Airix layer has been perforated. Right, it's been perforated so that any excess air that gets trapped on this side can be pulled through the Airix and allow for a nice consolidated laminate. And one thing that you have to do is make absolutely sure that the Airix is dust free. So I've taken some excess resin off of the laminate with this paper towel, but what I want to do here is just mess a little bit of excess epoxy on my work surface and just take this paper towel and wipe it up. What it'll do, it'll give me some excess resin in here in this paper towel, which will help to remove any dust that's present on this Airix core and works like a tack rag. So this excess epoxy that is on here will help stick dust from the Airix and also just make sure that the surface is dust free. So I'll make this tack rag, get it nicely clean, turn this Airix over and remove any dust from this surface as well, so with the same sort of tack rag. And just to remind you that the Airix has also been beveled off on the edges, so this is the surface it's going to go onto there, and I've beveled around on this surface all on the tip and up on the leading edge, so that that'll tuck in over there. When I turn this back over, on this side around the control surfaces and along the trailing edge, it's beveled on this side, so it's beveled underside there and top here, and that's just to allow the layer of glass that's going to fit over here to go down and meet that glass on a feathered edge and a nice sharp edge there, and not have a ridge that can cause problems with air pockets. Right, so now just very carefully push my Airix into here, making sure that it tucks into the leading edge all the way along, right up to the tip as well, and on this side the same thing. And push this, just making sure that I don't pull that glass into the laminate. And making sure that it doesn't pull the glass on the tip underneath it, so the glass must come out here. That's good. This will be pushed nicely into that area. Make sure that this nice and snug up into the corner, right into the leading edge, all the way along here. And what I'm going to do is just use some weights just to hold this in position until I put the next layer of glass on. And put another weight on here. Okay, so this is obviously the core, which helps to stiffen this whole skin. And my hinge line cut will come all the way down the middle here, which I've pre-marked. And I've actually scored on the actual flange and a line on my Airix here, which allows me to line up where the hinge line will be cut through at a later stage. Right, so we're getting there. This is all nicely snugged in there and tucked in. The glass is coming up the vertical side, and everything is fitting nicely inside the airfoil. This one keeps wanting to fold over here, so I just need to make sure that this stays tucked up and the glass comes out here. Put another weight here just to hold it down whilst I'm getting prepared for the inner skin. Put one here. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do is wet out the inner skin, which will go over here, but I don't like to wet out the skin on this Airix. I prefer to do the inner skin on a separate piece of plastic. We call it a wet preg method. I'll show you how that's done shortly.